All right. It's that time. It's time for Beyond Sight and Sound. Let's do this.
Are you looking for a high-quality beach and sand scoop? Are you trying to take your hunting to the extreme? How about an American-based company that stands behind their product and everything they sell? Then check out our friends over at XTREME Scoops. John has been making scoops for some time now and makes a quality beach and sand scoop to take your hunting to the next level. XTREME Scoops recently released their new sand shredder that works great in the water and on the beach. And if you're a new Equinox user, you may want to check out his Surfmaster X3 that can trap those small targets you new Equinox users are finding out there. XTREME Scoops' company approach is let's do it right. So do it right, buy it once, and go to the extreme. XTREMEScoops.com. That's XTREME scoops.com.
Caution. Please do not operate motor vehicles or power equipment while under the influence of this show. Listening to this show could cause side effects such as bouts of laughter, violent binges of cabin fever, and even dreams of silver and gold. Please be advised. Now that the fine print is out of the way, on with the show.
All right, the fine print's out of the way, and it's time to roll with the show. We're back. We're live. Once again, you are listening to Beyond Sight and Sound, metal detecting and treasure hunting radio for all the really cool digging people out there, at least those of us that can stay cool. Oh, so I guess first off I should say welcome to the rim of the cauldron, because like Chuck says in the chat, summer, I mean, we went straight from like monsoon, rain, spring, right into summer. It looks like Mother Nature's done playing around and she's just going to throw us right into the frying pan. I see Chuck's mentioned in the chat that they're already seeing in the forecast temps of 100 degrees this coming weekend, and that's not counting the heat index. Also, shout out to Gordon in the chat. Data's in the house. Welcome aboard, buddy. Saw that he posted today, I believe it was, that down there in his neck of the woods, it was reading 107. Too hot. Too hot. So, I guess first and foremost, links in the description. As always, our friends over at Shooters and Prospectors, Chuck Smalley, the man with the plan, the dealer of choice, the one that we like to promote here on Beyond Sight and Sound. Find yourself a reputable dealer, please. I can't stress that enough, folks. And when it comes to folks like Chuck, who, by the way, is a multi-line dealer, give him a call if you're looking for something. That's all I can say. That's all I can say. You won't be disappointed. You will be very, very satisfied with the customer service that you receive. Our friends over at XTREME Scoops, this time of the year, we're getting into the water. Everybody's looking for a way to cool off. Well, you're going to need to get yourself a good scoop. XTREME Scoops is definitely a good option out there, and an American-made product. So, there you go. Our friends at DETECTEES, Ken, Mark, Darth, Buddy, and the gang, they're doing a great job with everything. The shirts, the long sleeve shirts, the hoodies, not that any of us need a hoodie right now, but definitely doing a great job with things, and really, really enjoying the cooling wrap, the cooling towel. So hopefully we'll be seeing those available soon. I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. Also, we see that the Bills are in the house, along with Mark and Jason and Chuck and Randy, Mr. Barnhouse himself. If you haven't checked out his book, you may want to jump online and check that out. Good book. Speaking of books, we do have Steve Zizulek coming up here in July to discuss the release of his new book, TheRingFinders. Going to be a good book. Definitely going to be a good book. So yeah, we've got, let's see, we've covered DETECTEES. We've got the links for our friends over at XP Team USA, Facebook group, website, podcast. You can find their YouTube channel through those links, or search Google or whatever your preferred search engine is. Search YouTube. You'll find it quicker. Just XP Team USA, which they put up a photo slideshow today, just this afternoon, of the Dayton Diggers 10th annual event that the Bills were at. Actually, got to meet up with Tim and Sonia and Dave and quite a number of other people. They were able to put some names to faces, faces to names, and all of that. We've also got the links in for River Styx Outdoors and the links for All Metal Militia. If you have not checked out their YouTube channel or Facebook group, you may want to go over and check them out. They're making some killer finds. Let's see, what was it? Sunday, I believe I mentioned 1749 farthing, and just the other night they released a video where there had been a 1771 French coin found. That's just a large silver coin. As a matter of fact, when they pulled it out of the ground at first, it was mistaken for an 8 real, just because of where they're at and the size of the coin. And, yeah, come to find out, it was an old French coin. Very, very cool, very exciting video. Make sure and check them out if you have not already. Also, one of the other members from All Metal Militia did start up their own YouTube channel. I do not have the link in the chat tonight, in the description tonight, but I believe it was called Detected Outdoors or Detected Wilderness. The name escapes me right offhand. I do believe I did post it on the Beyond Sight and Sound page, though, earlier this afternoon. So we've got those links in the description, and then the last link in the description, and kind of why we were live tonight with the topic that we're live tonight with, is the link to Brute Magnetics. It's the link to their website. You can also find them on Facebook by searching for Brute Magnetics. That's BRUTE. And, well, I guess just kind of jumping right into things. If any of you have ever been magnet fishing or thought about it, you know, maybe you're not sure what to do. Maybe you are, maybe you've been out magnet fishing and you found something cool. Feel free to post it up in the chat or even give us a call and let us know what you found. I suppose that some of it is the time of year that we're in. You know, it's getting pretty warm out there, we can say. I mean, we're close to 90 today here ourselves. I don't even know what the heat index is, but it's hot. It's hot. Luckily, we got the little air conditioner put in yesterday. So hopefully we'll be able to stay cool this evening after the show. But maybe it's just the time of year. Maybe for whatever reason, people have seen posts somewhere, and that is kind of sparking curiosity again. I don't know exactly what has spurred it, but I have gotten a number of messages and questions lately along the lines of magnet fishing. So, okay, you know, not a problem. Also, I see Barb's in the chat. Welcome aboard, Captain. And, let's see. Hopefully I did not miss... I don't know. Maybe I've missed somebody. Maybe I haven't. Hopefully not. So, welcome aboard to everyone. Either way, like I was saying, I've gotten a number of questions lately. Messages, questions, whatever, on the topic of magnet fishing, which is another aspect of our hobby of treasure hunting. You know, yeah, we say it's metal detecting and treasure hunting for all the really cool digging people out there, but really, treasure hunting is an all-encompassing term. I mean, we're out there with detectors, we're out there with probes, we're out there bottle digging, we're doing the magnet fishing, we're privy digging, exploring in general, all sorts of different aspects. And magnet fishing, well, we've even covered mudlarking in the past too, gold prospecting, meteorite hunting. But magnet fishing is another one of those aspects of the hobby. And people have been asking me, you know, what should I use? I'm wanting to get into it. Or, you know, I kind of got into it. I got out of it. I'm thinking about getting back into it. I'm not really sure which way to turn. There's a lot of different options out there. What do you use? So I've been able to give them, I guess you could say it's merely my opinion. You know, not saying that that's gospel or that's exactly what you should use, because different situations call for different items, whatever the case may be. I use a few different magnets myself. But that being said, the magnets that I use Brute Magnetics magnets. They're good quality magnets. They're based right here in America. Actually, they're out of Georgia, if I remember correctly. And they're great people to deal with. They've shipped fast. Everything's packaged well when you order. And now they've even went that extra mile and put together kits where you've got everything that you need right there. You just go online, you order it, you wait for it to show up, and get out and enjoy your adventure. Wow, it's hot. So you get out and enjoy your adventure. But for me, usually, I don't use anything less than a 350-pound pole magnet. I've got some stronger ones, but, you know, low end, I'm using nothing less than a 350-pound pole magnet. But you got to stop and think of a few things as well. One, you want to make sure and use a magnet that you're going to have enough oomph to be able to drag in whatever that thing may latch to, or break it loose if need be. You know, if you get it onto something that ain't moving, or that there's just no way that you're going to get it in, you know, maybe, I don't know. Good example would be like around here in my area, some of the areas where the boardwalk goes around the lake, it's concrete boardwalk, and spaced every, I want to say 8 feet or so probably, there is a steel support in that concrete. I mean, it's a wide plate. It's probably every bit of maybe 6 inches wide, something like that. So you have to be careful when you're dragging your magnet back in that you don't latch onto that steel plate, because that's a nice flat surface and your magnet's going to jump right to it, which is fine. But now you've got a problem, don't you? Say you've got, I don't know, let's say, for example, you're using a 500-pound pull magnet. Well, now you got to figure out how you're going to break that magnet loose from that steel plate so that you can, you know, pack it up for the day or throw it back out there to see if you can get anything else or whatever. Either way, you've got to get it broke loose from that plate. If you don't have enough oomph to break that loose, you're trying to figure out a way to get some leverage on it. Use a pivot point, something like that. You know, walk down a ways and give it a good yank or whatever to wind up breaking it loose from that steel plate so you can continue on. So if you're not a very big person, that's something you're going to want to keep in mind. You may want to use a smaller magnet. Another one was, somebody had asked me what kind of a rope do I use. And I guess I don't know, I guess they kind of assumed that since I do a lot with Paracord, that I probably use Paracord with my magnet fishing. And there are a lot of places that they will offer you a length of Paracord, say 50 feet or so. With your magnet fishing kit, you can purchase it all as a kit. Myself, I don't use Paracord for magnet fishing. And not only do I not use it for magnet fishing, I don't recommend people to use it for magnet fishing. You should probably, you know, it's highly advisable that you should use gloves. Some of us, whatever the situation is, maybe we just don't like having our hands covered, maybe we didn't grab them that day, maybe we think it's just too much hassle, whatever your reasoning is behind it. A lot of people don't wear gloves, which can be a safety issue anyway, especially when you pull that magnet in and you see you've got a number of fish hooks on it or something like that. You don't want to wind up poking yourself on them, or even cutting yourself on a jagged piece of metal that you're trying to get off of that magnet now. But without the gloves, if you're using Paracord, and I'm sure I didn't go onto YouTube to look to see if I can find, example after example to mention on the show. But if you're using Paracord, I've seen at least a few different examples where people are tearing their hands up with it. Because Paracord, obviously, in a, say a survival situation or whatever, you can use Paracord like a friction saw. So now, look at that from the other side of things. I've been out magnet fishing, you know, I'm pulling my cord in, I'm pulling stuff off of the magnet, my hands are wet. If you keep going long enough, you know how if you've been in the pool too long, or you've been out water hunting too long, your hands are starting to wrinkle, skin's getting loose or whatever, and now you're using essentially a friction saw to pull your magnet in. You're going to tear your hands up. So in that aspect, I do not use Paracord for the magnet fishing, nor do I recommend it. Normally I use like a nylon like a braided marine rope, something, say, you don't need to get real crazy or anything like that. Maybe something 1/4 inch diameter. I'm sure you can use lighter. You could use heavier if you prefer. But usually right there around 1/4 inch, maybe even 3/8 would be great. There's not a lot of stretch to it if you get a good quality one. It doesn't necessarily hold water. They dry quick. Usually a good thing to go with. And the other thing that I can recommend to people, and I think actually a lot of these places, Brute Magnetics included, are starting to incorporate this into their kits, where you've already got the Threadlocker that ships with it. Always, always, always make sure that you put Threadlocker on the threads of that bolt that goes through the magnet. If you have to put that eye bolt or whatever attachment method it is onto that magnet yourself, always make sure to put Threadlocker on that. Let that Threadlocker cure before you get that magnet out in the water. Because some of these magnets, and they're not bad priced, it's not a bad price for the magnet, but they're not exactly cheap either. And let's face it, you go out there, you're going to try your hand at magnet fishing, you go out there your first day and you lose, say, a $50 magnet. Well, now we've had a little bit of a bad day, haven't we? And usually a lot of that can be alleviated with just putting a little bit of thought into things. Make sure that you use that Threadlocker and you torque it down good. Definitely. And I see where Gordon has dropped his World of Tokens link. Definitely a good group. Actually, I'm not sure if Ohio Relic Hunter is a member over there or not, but he just posted up today. He found a very, very nice merchant token. If you're a member over there, you may want to go over there and post it up over there, because there's a lot of very knowledgeable token people over in that group, Gordon included. Gordon's great with tokens. Also, we see that Scott's in from Midwest Treasure Hunters. And apparently he's had some experience with magnet fishing as well, because he brings up the aspect of proper knot tying. Very correct. You do have to make sure, and it goes a long way out there in the field if you just take a little bit of time and learn some good knots. If you're just tying your magnet to your rope. Make sure to use a good, proper knot. There are a lot of good tutorials on YouTube, especially if you get into some magnet fishing videos, where they'll explain to you and show you the process of how to tie the proper knots. That way you don't have to worry about that knot coming loose when you latch onto something, and next thing you know, you're just dragging the end of your rope in and nothing else. Because there again, like we said, if you get out there and say you've got $50 invested in that magnet, and you threw it out there 2 or 3 times, and that knot came loose, well, now we're kind of having a bad day, aren't we? Your magnet's out there in the water. How you going to get it now? I mean, if it's shallow enough that you can walk out there, hey, great. Otherwise, you might have a little bit of trouble. So proper knot tying can go a long way. Myself, normally, I like the ability to quick swap the magnet, I guess, for lack of a better term. So normally what I'm doing is I'm using stainless steel thimbles on the end of my rope and using a good quality carabiner to be able to attach that magnet to the rope. A lot of times it's what they refer to as a locking screw gate carabiner. So we don't have to worry about it coming loose or anything like that. And then that gives me the ability out in the field to quick swap the magnets if I choose to, because I do use a few different magnets when I'm out there sometimes, depending on what's going on, the environment that I'm in, things like that. Which for people who don't, they're kind of going, what? What's he talking about? A stainless steel thimble? Don't you use them on your fingers to sew? My wife's got one of them. No, completely different setup. I'm sure most people know what I'm talking about, but if you don't, just do a Google search. I'm sure you'll be able to find some photo references, or even just go on to any marine or boating supply site, and you'll probably see them in there too, especially when they get to talking about anchor lines and things of that nature. And then I guess there's always the possibility too that if you're using proper knot tying techniques and everything, you may even, if you haven't heard of them or learned about them before, you may even be able to learn a little something new, because you may learn of the existence of a neat little tool known as a Marlin spike, which anybody that has spent any amount of time on the water on a boat, you're going to know what I'm talking about. Kind of like a sailor's palm. A lot of people don't understand what those are either, but if you've spent any amount of time on the water on a boat, you know what I'm talking about. But especially in the aspect of the Marlin spike, a lot of people, whether you're a mariner or whether you are just into knot tying, paracording, whatever, you do know what I'm referring to there with the Marlin spike. Definitely a handy piece. That's something where a lot of people don't realize it, though. But yeah, proper knot tying techniques, obviously a plus. Obviously. And let's see. Nice. Looks like Steve's in, and he says he loves a Marlin spike in his buck. So he's, which he's right. You know, some of them, you can find them in many shapes or forms. Some of them are incorporated into pocket knives or multi-tools. Some of them are just the standalone version. Some of them have internal storage. Either way, handy piece for working with knots. Whether you're tying them, whether you're untying them, whatever. And there again, that's something it doesn't cost much of anything at all. And I've seen too, especially here lately, some of these companies that are offering these magnet fishing kits, I guess would be what you would call them. They're even offering the ability of a nice little storage case to keep them in, which is always a plus. I actually use like dry box ammo boxes to keep mine in. I've got some foam padding in there where I can keep a couple of magnets in there. Works out well. I usually keep one for magnets, one for ropes, so it's real easy to break everything down and pack it up for the day. And as long as you've got them in the ammo box or something like that, you don't have to worry about slapping it up against your vehicle or something and scratching your paint job or anything like that, or having to fight with breaking it loose from the vehicle. There again, the amount of pull that they've got, because these are very, very strong magnets. And that's another thing that people should keep in mind. is that, especially if you're dealing with more than one at a time, or even, you don't even have to necessarily be dealing with more than one at a time. You still want to be aware of your surroundings. You don't want to get any two of them too close together and, God forbid, happen to have your hand in the way or something, because if you get pinched by one of those, you're gonna know it. I'm sure it's not a very pleasurable experience. Never mind the fact of if you happen to get two of them to latch together, have fun trying to pull them apart. It can be done. It just may not be real easy. Actually, in the one dry box, I actually keep a small length of a ATV winch line, basically, that it's got the stainless steel thimble on it. And with that, my chat's acting weird. But with that ATV winch line, then, if something were to happen where they do get hooked together somehow, I can latch that winch line on to one of them and anchor it to something, and then I've got my rope on the other one where we can just find a pivot point or something, find enough pressure to break them back loose again. Because that's not a good time if you wind up having them latched together like that. And you want to be aware anyway, because you are carrying a very, very strong magnet at the end of that rope. So it's probably not a good idea if you're one of those people that do not like to carry cash and you're carrying credit cards. I would not advise getting that magnet close to the credit cards, or, now in days of digital media, getting it too close to your cell phone or your GoPro or anything like that. A lot of these memory cards that you can get anymore are magnetically resistant, where magnets don't seem to hinder them in any way. But there's always that chance that you could erase your video footage if you were taking video of your magnet fishing. Then you've got no video at the end of the day to show everybody. Have to retake the clip. Something like that. And obviously, do not play with them in the house. Don't get them close to your hard drive of your computer, or even your TV screen, anything like that. I imagine now in the days of the LED TVs and stuff like that, maybe it's not such an issue, but if you do have an older, say, CRT-style television, then you are definitely going to learn of the term of degaussing. And I see that Dwight is in the house, and we know he's done some magnet fishing. Mike's in as well. Welcome aboard. Actually, the other day, I believe I saw a go live where Dwight and one of his buddies were doing some magnet fishing down there in Florida, and pulled up a fishing rod and reel. Actually, the whole setup. I'm trying to remember now. I think maybe what they had hooked onto was maybe the leader and the hook or something like that, wound up dragging it in, and something was attached to the line, kept pulling, and, well, up come a fishing rod. I can't for the life of me remember I think it was a Zebco reel. It may have been a Zebco rod as well, though. I don't know. I cannot recall. But, there again, you just never know what you're going to find out there. I mean, I know I've pulled up some fishing reels before, railroad spikes, rail anchors, the anchors for the railroad lines. Not sure what they were doing there, but we pulled them up anyway. I think one of the strangest things I've wound up pulling up doing the magnet fishing, though, has been a fire department pager. That was a little interesting. Obviously, electronics and water don't mix very well. So it was irreparable by the time I got a hold of it. And it was an old enough model that it wasn't even worth trying to return or anything like that. I do see, yes, Dwight says that it was a Zebco. Nice. And some people, you get into the right areas, some people do very, very well just finding the fishing rods and reels. And if you're a fisherman, hey, bonus. Who doesn't like free gear? If you're not, well, you get a hold of the right setups, and people can have a fair amount of money wrapped into a good rod and reel setup. I'm sure that you can, as long as it's in good condition, you can always clean it up, and there's going to be some form of resale value there for you if you're trying to recoup some of your expense, or if you're even looking to pick up a little bit of extra money. Maybe it doesn't matter to you, and you know someone that can put it to good use. I've seen a number of people when they pick up the hooks, and if there's any sinkers or leaders or lures attached to the line, they've hooked onto it somehow with the magnet, maybe a net with some lures in it or something. Some of them lures can be collectible, or they'll go ahead and wash them off if they're all muddy or whatever, and take them down the bank a ways and hand them off to a fisherman. So they've got some extra tackle. And there again, what fisherman's going to turn it down, right? Who doesn't like getting free gear tossed their way? I know back in the day when I used to fish, I was all right with that. Of course, now the fishing's not as good as it used to be around here. That's why we dirt fish. That's why we magnet fish. Definitely. I see where Dwight's saying that they've found a lot of different things. And he's right, you do. You do. It could be shares, it could be bikes, could be safes, knives, multi-tools. I've found a number of multi-tools around the docks that people have dropped into the water. Seen people find some very nice multi-tools and knives, and we're not talking just your cheap generic ones. We're talking like the Leathermans, Spyderco, Gerber, things of that nature. And they're out there to find. They are out there to find. Not to mention the fact that, when you're out there doing that sort of thing, you are certainly doing your part to clean up the environment. Because all of this stuff we're taking out, it's not left in there to get, people to get hooked on, snagged on, step on, whatever, anything like that. And I don't know. Here in my area, some of the areas, it seems like you could keep throwing a magnet out all day long and keep coming up with shotgun shell heads and bottle caps. Shotgun shell heads and bottle caps. Or every now and then, for those that are old enough to remember, every now and then you even find one of the old cone-top beer cans. Or the oil cans, light fixtures. You never know. That's part of the fun of it, though. It's, in that aspect, it is just like detecting. You make that find, And then you can't wait to throw that magnet back out to see what that next item is that you're going to wind up pulling in. And if you can feel some resistance on the end of that rope when you're pulling it back in, you can't wait to get it up above the water to see what it is that you found. And God knows there's plenty of stuff out there to find in the water. It is a little bit of a downside though for some of us, because obviously the majority of everything that you're going to find is obviously ferrous. But that's not to say that you won't find any coins. You know, a lot of foreign coins are magnetic. Maybe you latch on to a can or a safe. Hell, who knows? A parking meter that's got coins in it. So there is still the potential of that. And I suppose, depending on the purity, you may come up with some jewelry, depending on what it's alloyed with. Maybe you even find a few pieces of good jewelry, decent jewelry, if you're lucky enough. I think in the Go Live that Dwight put up the other day, I think they even said that they had done some testing and had found that, obviously, depending on what it was alloyed with, you will find that some pieces of jewelry do have a little bit of magnetic property to it. Where if you've got a strong enough magnet, you're going to pull it in. Let's see. Looks like I don't know what they're going on there in the chat about. Hard to say. Definitely hard to say. So yeah, you will definitely make some interesting finds. If you are a scrapper and you get into the right areas, you're definitely, well, lack of a better term or anything, you will cover your travel cost. No problem. Shoot, I've got a couple of buckets outside of the house now where I had to go after a set of car keys for a person. There was so much metal on the lake bottom that we figured, well, our best bet is to get in here with a couple of magnets. And I don't know if there were a few drums that had been dumped and had disintegrated or what. But just that, like a 10 by 10 foot area, we probably pulled close to 35 pounds worth of scrap steel out of the lake bottom that afternoon, including a big heavy log chain. Everybody knows those big heavy chains, those heavy duty chains like that aren't cheap. So maybe you could even sell the chain to someone. But yeah, in terms of scrap steel, I mean, we're looking probably 35 pounds or so that we pulled out of the lake that day, which goes a long way to clean up the environment. And it certainly needed it. It certainly needed it. And looks like Mike's in from Midwest Relic Recovery. Check out their group. I see that he comments right. I'm assuming he's talking about the scrap metal. Mike definitely does his share of iron. So, yeah, we'll see. Also, another thing to keep in mind if you're out there magnet fishing, you want to make sure where your rope is located too. Don't get that thing wrapped around your ankles. Wrapped around your feet or whatever. You get tangled up and take a dip yourself, you may regret it. Just saying. But there's a lot of good things out there that you can find that way. Definitely. And we thought that we'd carry on for a little bit here tonight and just discussing a few things like that about the magnet fishing and all of that. Kind of try to address or readdress some of the questions that I have been getting here lately. Like I said, I don't know what has spurned all the questions lately, but we have certainly done our best to try and answer all of those for people. Either a direct answer to their question, or if it was a more general question, we've directed them to the Brute Magnetics video that I've got up on the Ohio Metal Detecting channel on YouTube, where they can kind of get a look at a couple of Brute Magnetics magnets, the way they were shipped, the unboxing basically, along with the information on where they can get some good fishing magnets themselves. And speaking of Brute, I do believe that's what Dwight was using the other day as well. So he's got himself a good quality magnet. And speaking of Dwight, for those who don't know, I'm not sure if he's made the announcement anywhere or not. So hopefully I'm not jumping out of line. We've been working on it for a while and everything. And I do believe, I will check my schedule to make sure, but I believe that it is this Sunday, Dwight will be on the show. So we'll be able to hear about some of his experiences with magnet fishing, I'm sure, as well as his experiences with metal detecting, maybe even a little bit about the New Age Goonies, which a lot of people, they already know the name New Age Goonies and Nag and even Dwight, but we're hoping to kind of focus more on the man behind it. You know, what his experiences have been in the hobby and how he likes to get out and enjoy his adventures. So we'll see how that goes, but that should be Sunday. Like I said, we've had to work on it for a while. Obviously, for those who know Dwight, they know he's a very, very busy gentleman. Sometimes he's jumping all around like popcorn in the wind. But it looks like we have finally gotten all of that taken care of, got him nailed down to a time. And that should be Sunday, unless I've lost track of my scheduling or mixed that up a little bit. So we'll see what happens. Either way, the last I spoke with him, very energetic, looking forward to it, and going to be quite a character to speak to on the show. Dwight's a good guy. And he's always so excited about getting out there. It doesn't seem to matter whether it's metal detecting, magnet fishing, or whatever. Definitely an excited gentleman. So looking forward to speaking with him. Also lately, if people have not seen the post, I know he had posted it around in a few different places. Ohio Relic Hunter obviously made himself a nice merchant token find today. But the other day, yesterday maybe? I think it might have been yesterday. Or here in the past couple of days, you see Bill Hayes in the chat there. He found himself a very, very nice Ohio Chauffeur's Badge. Those things are just neat as heck. Tim Glick found one here recently too. Super, super cool artifact to pull out of the dirt. Every time I see one, I usually like, comment. I know Mike, he's gotten himself a couple of them. I want to say I believe his were Illinois Chauffeur's Badges. But every time I see one, I gotta like. A lot of times I comment. Not jealous, little envious. They are a very, very cool piece to find. One of these days I'll get my coil over one too. But very, very cool piece to find. So congratulations to Bill on his recent chauffeur's badge. I'm not real sure if that's his first or not. He's probably, it wouldn't surprise me if he's got a couple of them, actually, because, I mean, those who know Bill, they know he's been doing this for, well, we'll just say quite some time. Don't want him giving away his age or anything. But no, all joking aside, Bill has been doing this for a while. If that was his first, congratulations to him. He worked for it, he earned it, and it is definitely one to be proud of. Good job with it. And it looked like it was in great condition. Excellent condition. I want to say, I believe he posted it on Ohio Relic Hunters group, Dirt Pirates group, probably the XP Team USA group as well. I think that's where I saw it and commented on it. Very, very cool though. If none of you have happened to see it, check it out. Or if none of you have happened to find one, let us know in the chat. One of these days, you'll get your coil over it. That's all it takes. Just get out there and look. Of course, now it's getting to be a little on the hot side, especially from what I saw Chuck posting at the beginning of the show. So for some of us, myself being included, it may be time to start hitting the water that I can hit. We've had so much rain that the water levels have been high, but I'm sure with the heat it's going to drag it back down a little bit to where we can get out in the water again. So hopefully soon I will be out in the water, trying to squeeze it in here and there. Going to try to get some magnet fishing in again here in the very near future, hopefully. It has been a while since I've been out doing that, and I do need to get back out and do some more of that anyhow. Who knows? Maybe I'll even get out and do a little bit of it this week. That way, maybe we can speak with Dwights Sunday and see what all he's found this week while he's been magnet fishing. And I'm sure that what him and the rest of the Nag family find down there magnet fishing will blow anything I've found away. But hey, it's still a interesting aspect to talk about. And speaking of upcoming things, obviously, for those that have followed the show for a while, they know that this time of the year, which is very, very quickly approaching for me, this time of the year, I also do quite my fair share of festival hunting. So we're rolling into that. It's going to be a busy, busy month for me. We'll see what happens with the shows. I'm not sure why. It may just be the dates the weekends fall on. For some reason, though, some of the festivals seem to have jumped ahead or behind by a weekend. So I'm not sure what that's going to do to me as far as the festival hunting goes this year. But in light of all the rain that we've had and Mother Nature keeping us cooped up indoors, it's not exactly very conducive to my situation, nor many of you either. And I'm sure that has impacted our counts and totals and things like that if you're trying to tally anything for the year, or just impacted our finds in general because we haven't been able to get out and hunt due to the weather conditions, essentially. I mean, sure, a lot of the equipment that we have, you have, I have, whatever, is waterproof, but we may not necessarily be as waterproof as the equipment. And realistically, with all the rain, at least that we've gotten in our area, you may not necessarily want to be in the water when she's angry like that. And I'm sure that Chuck can definitely relate with that, being there along the mighty Mississippi. Chuck did a go live actually last night. I think he was I think they were training some kids on the use of fire extinguishers. Had the, looked like the Cordova Fire Department out with a group of kids. Great to see. Always good to see. It's good to learn something new every day if you didn't already know or have that bit of information in your arsenal, in the knowledge base, the wheelhouse. It's good to learn things like that. Everybody should have at least a little bit of, well, at the very least, basic fire skills. And no, I'm not talking about how to start them. I'm talking about how to deal with them. You know, most any of us can start a fire. It's just being able to resolve that in a safe fashion. It goes getting out of control. People are putting themselves in into harm's way to deal with it. Just like with the water. When the water's up and high like this, some of the people don't think. I don't know. Everybody gets stupid when the water gets wild like that or something. We had a water rescue here last week where I believe it was 3 people on an air mattress. And they found 2 right away. It took them a little bit to find the 3rd one. They did wind up finding them. Thankfully, they were okay. But it's crazy things like that wind up putting other people, like our first responders and emergency workers, in harm's way to try and resolve the situation. You know, just like when they say, oh, a hurricane's going to hit, and you've always got some people that they go right for where the hurricane is, and then they get themselves in a situation where they need a little bit of help. Now you're putting first responders and emergency crews in a situation to assist you when they could have been assisting other legitimate needs of people who legitimately needed assistance, but they had to stop and go take care of, you know, whoever this other person was that decided, oh no, it won't get me. I'm going to be a little silly and go right into it. Not saying you didn't have legitimate reasons to, but sometimes you got to stop and think about that sort of stuff, folks. It's not a good thing. We definitely appreciate all of the first responders and emergency workers that tune into the show. We do have a number of them, whether they're EMTs or smoke eaters or law enforcement or anything of that nature. It takes a particular sort of person to do that job and put themselves in harm's way. Speaking of which, before we get out of here, I did have some other questions as well. Some people were commenting on the contest post about the silver bar or sending me messages wanting to know how things had went with voting. And we did make a post about it, but for those who had missed the post, we are very, very pleased to announce to everyone, thank you to everyone for their support. Continued support and everything, but mainly for their support with the voting, the sharing, and things of that nature. Results were released, I want to say early yesterday evening, and the entry of the patriotic quick deploy bracelets that were made and donated to Operation Gratitude did place first place in the contest with most popular in votes with 350 votes. So with that being said, once again, we did make the post about it thanking everyone, but for those who didn't see the post, we're taking a moment once again to say thank you for the support and the voting and sharing. It was very much appreciated, and that did go a long way to getting additional supplies to make and donate more bracelets to Operation Gratitude. First place was awarded a $100 gift certificate, obviously to be used in store, I guess you could say, for merchandise. So there is a nice sized package of supplies headed this way to try and make and donate more bracelets to the troops. And that's not just troops. That's for care packages for first responders, active military, veterans, family members of deployed veterans, even wounded veterans. We've got a caller. Go ahead, caller. I think we had a caller. Let's see. Where did they go? I'm looking here. No, we did have them. Well, let's see what happens here. I think this was them. We'll see if we can pull them back in. Not sure what happened. But we'll give it a shot and see. Maybe we can get them back.
You got me.
Sure. Oh, we do have them. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, how's it going, Chuck? Obviously not necessarily so cool.
No, it warmed up.
Yes, it did.
With great intensity, and it's going to get hotter. So here's summer.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I think she threw us right into the frying pan.
And congratulate you on that win. That's pretty cool. That's cool.
Oh, well, thank you. I thought it was a good cause. I mean, Operation Gratitude does these care packages for different things, first responders and troops and all of that. And actually, they received that shipment, I believe, Monday. There were a couple of dozen of those quick deploy patriotic bracelets in there that will go out into care packages for folks.
Cool. That's great. That's really great what you do with that stuff, and you deserve that win.
Well, and I'll tell you, everybody's about networking and cross-promotion and all of that. Operation Gratitude wanted you to include a small business card-sized note to go along with each bracelet to whoever received it. Well, rather than trying to cut up business card-sized notes, I just took the business cards from the show and wrote on the back, thank you for your service, God bless, and put it in with the bracelets. So everybody that receives one of those bracelets, who knows? Maybe we'll see them tune into the show. Maybe we'll get them into metal detecting.
Cool. Way to go. Good idea.
Right?
Congratulate you. You're pretty handy with that stuff, and you deserve that. And that's cool. I got a couple of those Paracord bracelets, the green ones for Jesse. In fact, I spoke with Jesse today. He seemed to be doing pretty good, and the water is starting to recede in his basement.
Good, because I know there at one point it sounded like, well, I guess one of the things that's giving him so many problems is the Rock River keeps playing with their gates.
Yep.
And they don't know how to let that out slow. They just do it full bore or not at all. And
yep.
I believe he even wound up burning up a pump or two trying to stay dry.
Yes, he did. And right now he's made headway, and it's actually maybe on the verge of drying out. And Mississippi's dropping hard here, and it's out of action stage. That means it's actually below true flood stage, pretty much all the way down from here to Muscatine right now.
Good.
And, continue to fall, and might even get to see some beach here from my place. I hope so.
Right, I was going to say, if it keeps dropping like that, maybe we'll see some video footage of Chuck out in the water with that pulse dive.
Yeah, we considered that, and it'd be a lot of fun. I would probably pull the boat further north. I'd like to get up around Prairie du Chien. When that gets down, they got huge beaches and stuff there. And that water up there actually clears up pretty nicely, so you can work with it. Down here, not so much with the broad scope of it here. It doesn't sound
right. Visibility is a little low.
It's like 0.
Well, yeah. Well, it's a good thing that you got the yellow pulse dives.
Yes. It's called dark water diving, to be honest with you, and I actually have a dive team here that we occasionally have to call out for dark water diving. And those guys, I've dove a lot, and most of it's pretty clear water.
Right.
And some are, but I'm not one to like diving in the Mississippi River because there's more cables and crap laying down in here. Magnet fishing in the Mississippi is a touch-and-go thing. There's big things laying down here all over.
Yeah,
Maybe
you latch onto a vehicle or something, and that ain't going to work so hot.
Oh, yeah. No. I've tried it a little bit. We were trying to recover an outboard, thinking maybe we could get it. It was a racing outboard and an older one. Ended up polling for it. They hit it. Guy went in, roped it, and we pulled it up. But the magnet just wasn't, at that time, good enough to pull it up.
Right. But at least
it's huge.
It sounds like, though, at least the magnet kind of got you in the spot where then you could send a guy down and be right on it.
Yep, it did. And we've tried to get a Johnson fishing reel back. The earlier ones did have steel.
Yes, they did.
But for the most part, I haven't done much of it, and I see guys doing it. I see guys in Europe doing it, and they're pulling up a lot of World War II relics. A lot of them.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
I think I'd be a little nervous about some of that they pulled up. They've got both German and U.S. grenades and all kinds of stuff, and I'm like, I don't know if you saw the post I shared over about the 550-pound bomb going off just for it was there in that field in Germany a couple days ago. I still think metal detecting some of those areas with live unexploded ordnance in the area is probably not the best idea.
Yeah, some of those areas you truly have to venture in at your own risk, literally.
So, and they've drug a lot of guns up. I've watched several YouTube, that one outfit in opening up old bunkers and doing different stuff, and they found many of both sides recovered bodies with helmets and skulls in them, and it's kind of a spooky looking thing.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, you never know what you're going to find, and we can't be selective about it, so you have to be prepared. You may find anything, and yeah, we certainly hope that nobody has the unfortunate experience of finding something like that. It's happened, though.
Gordon's got something going on with the kids with autism tomorrow. He just put on there metal detecting and magnet fishing.
Oh, now that is very, very cool. I didn't realize that. Good for him. They do a lot, the New Age Goonies. They've been doing a lot with the kids down there in Florida, Boys and Girls Club and things of that nature. Good to see.
I am. But anyway, we like working with the kids. Whether it's detecting, we bring them into the fire station. You saw that last night. This year we had about 15. Last year we had 45. We kind of got overwhelmed. And last year, this year it was a little less. It was kind of hot. Is what it was. So
the weather kept them in.
Yep. They learned on it, and it's great. And now I got Mike. Mike wants to come up and go for a fire truck ride. And I told him if he ever comes up, it can be arranged. Trust me.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that he knows somebody that can hook him right up.
Right, we can hook him up. So,
right.
Those kids were having a blast. They literally learned a lot, and we try to make it interesting and fun for them. So, and getting out with autistic kids, our group, I wasn't able to be there, but they do that with the school in Davenport every year. The I&I Club does, and they just did that about 3 weeks ago.
Oh, very cool.
And that's one of the best ways to promote what we do and work with kids. And to them, it's a great thing to get out and do that. It really is.
Oh yeah, they love it. It's the allure of discovery. Everybody gets to be Indiana Jones. Or well, I guess for these newer kids, everybody probably gets to be Tomb Raider or somebody.
Yeah. We're past Indiana Jones, I think.
Right.
Or Tomb Raider. Lara Croft, there you go.
Yeah, Lara Croft. Yeah, exactly. But still, it's in a hobby where we can get so much bad publicity. Things like that go a long way to keeping the hobby in a good light.
Right. So, but I wanted to congratulate you. That's pretty cool. Thank you for all you do for us, and your show is a great one. It's got a big following, and I get to sit and talk with some people I don't get to see very often, and one of these times I'm going to get down to one of those cookouts down in Florida.
Right, the Treasure Hunter Cookout.
Yes, I would love to get down to that, and it's coming. About 2 more years, guys, and I'll be retiring out of the department, so I'll have more time.
Oh, there you go. Then look out, everybody. You just be hell on wheels.
Well, it's hell on wheels this past week running the roads, I'll tell you that. We've had some night Scott, and we've been busy. It turned summer, and everybody got crazy.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm sure you probably seen the news clips there of that accident in New Hampshire the other day. That's sad. Yeah, that's very, very unfortunate that had to happen. But it sounds like they've got a lot of support and outpouring. I hear their GoFundMe's doing very, very well, and you know, our thoughts go out to their families. It's definitely a bad thing. I haven't even heard how the other 3 that just sustained serious injuries are doing, but hopefully they're making a speedy recovery.
I hope so too. And yeah, Gordon, thank you. I will try and get down there. Mike, you probably did hear thunder. Oh, last of the beans. You've got some storms rolling through there. You ought to eat cooking for yourself again, huh, Mike? Anyway.
Yeah, and these storms, I'm telling you what, they're nasty.
What's that?
These storms are just nasty.
Yes, they are. And this one, this line that's down just south of us, but closer to Mike, is moving about 10 miles an hour. And it's got hail and wind and heavy rain, and it's just sitting there. And it's expanding, because I was outside a little bit ago, and you could see the thunderheads. So, yeah, it doesn't expand too far.
Yeah, hopefully he can send that south or something instead of east.
Yes.
We don't need no more like that. Actually, I believe that was yesterday. Bill had a cell come through his area down there in southern Ohio that they had horizontal rain, hail, wind, tornado. The tornado wasn't in his area. It was a few miles off, and it was a smaller one, but still.
There have been some nasties, so hopefully it's going to slow down a little bit, turn to a kind of a little bit drier spell. The farmers, actually, this is drying that ground. That corn's starting to pop. It's starting to grow, and this is what we need. Hot,
good, yeah.
Dry. And like to see that. Tom tells me he got a package today, so he hasn't opened it yet.
Oh, well, we know what that is.
Oh,
nice.
Good night. Anyway, I just wanted to tell you, congrats. Tam's talking about the nephew in the baseball game there. Somebody twisted an ankle and it didn't sound, yeah, it didn't sound good.
Uh-oh, well, hopefully it wasn't the nephew. Not good.
He says he's tough.
He is. I'll tell you what, that kid's just a ball of dynamite.
I've been getting out a little bit. I've been making time for it, hustling to get things done, and I've been taking that 800, and I've been using the book a little bit, and then modifying some of the programs differently to what I can use, and I'm very impressed in that high iron. I have a spot right up here I've been going into that higher iron, and it's killer. It really is. I'm impressed.
Right.
And I got a coin. I didn't video it, Josh, but I got a little coin spill yesterday. There's, I think, 4 wheat pennies in this spill out of this iron. 2 of them were 1909 Lincoln.
Nice. Good job.
No BOS, but they were both very nice. I'll take a picture of them. I took the cleaned them a little bit, a little Andre pen breaking out some of the crust on them, and they are very nice Lincoln cents. I was impressed. So
very good. Yeah, I'm looking forward to getting one of those ordered myself and see if I can tweak the settings on that Equinox a little bit. I'm thinking about running that through one of my festival areas, or even taking a machine through there with a little smaller coil. The other night I was through one of the areas and I got into a spot maybe 8 or 10 feet circle where I spent more time on the ground than I did standing up because there were coins everywhere. You couldn't isolate any signal. They were layered on top of each other. You'd find one, stand up, and the detector's still going off.
And this one particular program that I modified because they've got some things in it probably for a tougher soil that I'm working, and it's doing very well, very, very well with this high trash iron.
Nice.
Like there's nails and car parts and all kinds of stuff, but the coins are there. I'm doing all right with it. No, it's not a spot. Well, it's an 1840 church, but the entire yard was used. There was a ball diamond on it, but there was, after a certain period, the church closed down. It became a junkyard.
A lot of different activity and occupation, and I know what you mean. I've hunted sites like that where it was once a junkyard, but now it's a home or a business or something like that, and those are tough.
Yep, and so this is working through that, and I've hunted the daylights out of it, and over the years, and really found some stuff, but it's so thick with trash. Even later model SE Pros, E-Tracks, that kind of stuff have problems in there. The 3030, if I went slow and turn and listen, I was finding stuff, but this little 800 is just cherry picking the daylights out of this.
Right, it's much, much faster processor.
And I took the Amphibio in there and I found a few coins with it, but the 800 seems to shine in this. And I'm impressed. That was one of the sites that I wanted to hit, and I did it at another place the other day, and I'm very, very impressed the way it can dig that stuff out of there. I mean, I went into a spot that I know everybody and their brother in our area has hunted, and I used that program, and it's clay soil, and got a little more mineralization in it, and I'm cherry-picking Indian heads and wheats and barber dime out of this, all that heavy trash, and then hitting this other spot. So 2 things. If you got the Equinox, get the book. Get Andy's book. It's worth it.
Yeah, I mean, if you've done that with the program that you got out of the book and modified it a little bit, that's anybody that knows you should know that's good enough. They need to order that book. And if you're cherry picking Indians with that, with information from that book, Barb needs to be getting herself a copy.
Yep, 1887, 1895 was the 2 the other day, and then I got an 1879 and 1890.
Wow. So, you just barely missed that 77.
Yeah, well, I pulled the 1887 up, And what, 10 years, that's all I need is 10 years less.
Right. Give me one more. Just get me a little closer.
So, anyway, Josh, I'll back out of here. Everybody have a great night. I hope everybody gets out and gets to find a little bit, and we'll have a good time out there. Gordon, I am going to make it down there, buddy. Just keep me in the loop on a date for that. And I'm starting to open up more and more time. I'm headed for England this fall. I'm going to be doing some other stuff. I'll be out in Western Pennsylvania in September on a hunt.
Oh, what do you got going on out there?
Well, over on one of the sites, they had an auction for a hunt to help Casey's mom out. She had an aneurysm, and
oh, sorry to hear that.
I talked to them and said, why don't you just sell a hunt to each of us and we'll double the money. And there's 4 of us going twice. I'm going one time with my group of 3, and then there's a group of the Deus people going to go after us. It was offered up, and we bought auction type of thing, bought the hunt, and then we split it, 2 hunts. And room and board and the whole thing's included, in 1840s up site, Civil War ground. It's out in Fredericksburg.
Oh, Chuck's excited.
So we're going to go do a little digging for a couple days, and I'm swinging down into Virginia and taking a couple buddies with me, and Lance, and we got a couple private areas to hunt down there that's all Confederate campsites.
Wow, I see the Equinox and the Amphibio and a couple other machines getting loaded in the truck in the future.
Oh, yeah, GPX will be in the back end, too.
Mm-hmm.
So we're planning a week long out there, and then I'll go with Chicago Run, second week of October to England.
Hey, that's right. You'll be out with the birthday boy himself.
Yep, it was his birthday.
That's right. Happy birthday to him.
Yep. I talked to him yesterday, gave him a ring, and teased him about it a little bit.
I probably should have called him. I just made a post on his timeline instead. Speaking of which, that's one of the things that we were kind of hoping to do when we were in Chicago and missed the opportunity to. Tam was really looking forward to getting a tour of the firehouse. So I guess if we ever make it out to Cordova, we'll have to get a tour of the firehouse while we're out there.
Yep, we just renovating the firehouse itself now. We're upgrading some of the trucks. That truck you saw last night, we just put that in the fleet 18 months ago.
Oh yeah, was that the new ladder truck?
No, that's the new squad engine, heavy rescue engine.
Oh, okay. Wow, you guys have been doing a lot of updates then.
So they've been keeping me busy on both sides of the fence there with that. So we're going after a new ladder here shortly. We've been putting away for that, so that's coming here probably in the next 18 months.
Well, at least they got a good guy behind the wheel shopping for them then. I'm sure you'll drive a hard bargain.
Well, there ain't much bargain on a fire truck, I'm here to tell you.
Right.
Build them nut by bolt, ground up. I mean, you go through everything. It's not like driving down to the Chevy dealership and say, look, I'll take that one. That don't happen.
Yeah, no, you got to take what you can get and hope for the best possible deal.
Right now, if we ordered a ladder, it's 14 months out before we get it.
Wow. Oh, boy.
Yep, it takes a while to build them.
Yes, it does. Well, I guess that's why it's good to keep up on the maintenance so you can keep them running as long as possible.
We're coming up. We try to get, and what they allow is 25 years. You try to buy a truck that's going to last you 25 years. And that's why they run anywhere from 800 to 1.2 million now.
Right. Yeah, they ain't cheap. They ain't cheap at all. But, I'm sure the residents in the surrounding area are glad you guys are there when they need you.
Yep. So we stay busy. So anyway, everybody have a great night. Be safe. Mike, dodge those hailstones coming your way there, buddy.
Yeah, definitely. Stay safe, Mike.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Josh, as always, a pleasure, and everybody have a great night.
Always a pleasure, buddy. Thanks for the
right.
call.
You bet. Bye-bye.
We'll see you. Well, there you go. Even a little bit of chime in from Chuck. It sounds like Mike's got some bad weather headed his way. So hopefully he stays safe and that goes as well as possible for him. Definitely with these storms, it's been some tough stuff lately. These storms have been really, really crazy. So hopefully, he doesn't have any serious issues, especially with these storms here lately. They've been doing some serious hail damage to vehicles. And that's not a good thing either, whether it's your vehicle, your house, or whatever. God forbid you're out in it when it starts hailing. Good Lord. So yeah, hopefully, definitely, anybody in the path of the storm, please stay safe, be well. And obviously, like we mentioned there a few minutes ago, for those who don't know about the accident there in New Hampshire, our thoughts definitely go out to the family members. There were a group of 10 bikers hit, and out of the 10, 7 of them unfortunately died on the scene. And it was the Jarheads motorcycle group, so they were, veterans or supporting friends, spouses, whatever, of veterans, and it's there's no way to really convey the amount of sorrow, and it's truly a tragedy. Tough times. But hey, for everyone else, I think we've probably ran on long enough here. We're going to roll so we can cool off a little bit. Definitely looking forward to Dwight, the man himself, Sunday. So get ready. It's that time. Sunday. And who knows? You know the tag phrase. Maybe we can get Dwight to open up with that Sunday just for kicks, right? So, for everyone else, we're going to get on out of here. But if you enjoyed the show, make sure and throw us a like right here. You can follow us on Spreaker. You can follow us on Facebook, iTunes, iHeart, many of the other wonderful podcast distribution services, and YouTube through Ohio Metal Detecting. Join us on one of them, all of them, or none of them. And while you're on Facebook, check out Ohio Relic Hunters, Dirt Pirates Detecting, the Metal Detecting Beyond Sight and Sound Group, MindLab CTX 3030 Users Group, the Midwest Treasure Hunters, the I&I Group, the Metal Detecting Central Illinois, let's see, Relics Radio, Adventures in History, Equinox Users Group, AT-Max Users Group, the All Metal Militia Facebook Group, World of Tokens, New Age Goonies. Can't forget the Nag brothers and sisters. Definitely. And for those of you that have young diggers in the hobby, Chuck had mentioned Gordon was doing a thing with kids with autism and all of that. Don't forget and check out New Age Goonies Juniors. It's a group dedicated specifically to the younger generation of the hobby. So definitely a good thing. Very, very good thing to see. As I've said before, Gordon, Dwight, Mike, and the rest of the gang down there, Central Florida Metal Detecting Club, they do a great job with it too. As well as other opportunities that come up, like Esther and things of that nature that they've done. But don't forget the good things that the groups are out there doing. We're all trying to do our part to contribute or donate in some way, shape, or factor. It's definitely good to see. And we have done our part to do what we can to support Central Florida Metal Detecting Club as well as New Age Goonies in all of the things that they do with the children and the other organizations, as well as I&I, great things that they do with the Scout Camp and everything like that. Great things being done down in Texas with the Kerrville, the Children's 4-H camp down there in Kerrville. Awesome, awesome stuff. There's plenty of ways that we can play a part to contribute, donate, and help encourage others in the hobby. All we have to do is open our eyes a little bit. So, we're going to roll on out of here. For everyone else, have a wonderful evening. And we'll see you on the pages.